What I'm about to explain today may completely change the way you think about health after 50 because some of the habits millions of adults believe are protecting them from cancer are quietly doing the exact opposite. And honestly, this has become one of the most frustrating parts of modern preventive medicine. People are trying to do the right thing. They're buying the healthy products, following the trends, listening to social media advice, drinking the smoothies, taking the supplements, cutting calories aggressively, exercising harder, sleeping less to stay productive. And yet, year after year, I continue seeing intelligent, disciplined adults walk into oncology clinics, shocked by diagnoses they genuinely believed they had spent years trying to avoid. My name is Dr. Adam Scott Levin. I've spent nearly 3 decades studying cancer biology, aging, inflammation, metabolic disease, and prevention science. And over the years, one pattern has become impossible for me to ignore. The problem is no longer just unhealthy behavior. The bigger problem is misunderstood health behavior. Because many adults over 50 are unknowingly creating internal conditions that increase inflammation, suppress immune surveillance, damage sleep architecture, elevate stress hormones, impair cellular repair systems, and accelerate biological aging while believing they are becoming healthier. In 2023, researchers publishing in Nature Metabolism reviewed long-term health outcomes across multiple aging populations and found something deeply concerning. Many adults following extreme wellness trends actually showed elevated biological stress markers, increased cortisol dysregulation, impaired immune function, and reduced metabolic flexibility compared to individuals following simpler, more balanced lifestyle patterns. That finding shocked even many researchers because it challenged the assumption that more health effort automatically creates better health outcomes. Before we go further, I want to ask you something because I genuinely read the comments on this channel carefully. How old are you, and what health habit do you currently believe is helping you most right now? Supplements, exercise, dieting, fasting, walking? Tell me below, because by the end of this video, you may see some of those habits very differently. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 extremely common healthy habits that are quietly backfiring in adults over 50. We're going to count down from misleading all the way to the single habit I now believe may be causing more hidden metabolic stress than almost any other wellness trend being promoted online today. Stay with me because the number 1 item completely changed how I counsel my own high-risk patients, and once you understand the biology behind it, you'll never look at modern wellness culture the same way again. Let's begin with number 5. One of the biggest mistakes I see adults over 50 making is becoming obsessed with low-fat processed health foods. Yogurts marketed as heart-healthy, protein bars labeled clean, sugar-free snacks, fat-free cereals, processed meal replacements. On the surface, these products appear healthier than traditional comfort foods. But biologically, many of them create the exact inflammatory instability they claim to solve. Here's why. When manufacturers remove natural fats from foods, they almost always compensate by increasing stabilizers, artificial sweeteners, emulsifiers, synthetic fibers, processed starches, or flavor engineering compounds designed to maintain texture and shelf stability. The human body, especially after 50, often responds poorly to this kind of chronic ultra-processing. Research published in Gut Microbes in 2022 showed that several commonly used emulsifiers significantly disrupted gut microbiome diversity and increased intestinal inflammatory signaling linked to colorectal disease pathways. A separate study from King's College London found that highly processed diet foods produced larger glucose fluctuations and inflammatory stress responses than minimally processed whole food meals containing healthy fats. I had a patient named Linda 62 years old, who came into my clinic convinced she was eating one of the cleanest diets imaginable: low-fat yogurts, sugar-free puddings, meal replacement shakes, fiber bars. Yet her inflammatory markers continued climbing year after year. Her fasting insulin was elevated, her energy was unstable, her digestive symptoms worsened. Once we shifted her away from heavily marketed processed health products and back towards simple whole foods with natural fats, olive oil, eggs, salmon, vegetables, nuts, her metabolic markers improved dramatically within months. The lesson here is important. Sometimes the body responds better to simplicity than optimization culture. And when you combine this mistake with the next habit I'm about to discuss, the biological stress becomes significantly worse in ways most people never realize. Now let's talk about habit number 4, because this one surprises almost everyone. Chronic sleep sacrifice disguised as productivity. Modern culture praises people who sleep less. People brag about functioning on 5 hours. They wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. But biologically, your body interprets chronic sleep deprivation as danger. And after 50, that danger becomes much harder to recover from. During deep sleep, your body regulates immune coordination, hormone repair, inflammatory balance, glymphatic waste removal inside the brain, and cellular recovery pathways tied directly to cancer surveillance. But here's what many adults never hear. Even if you spend enough hours in bed, fragmented sleep caused by late-night screens, chronic stress, alcohol, irregular schedules, or nighttime stimulation can dramatically impair the restorative phases your body actually needs. Research from Stanford Sleep Medicine show that repeated interruption of deep sleep architecture significantly reduced NK cell activity and amplified inflammatory signaling associated with tumor progression pathways. Another large-scale European study found that adults over 55 with inconsistent sleep timing had substantially higher long-term metabolic dysfunction compared to individuals maintaining stable circadian patterns. I had a patient, Robert, who believed he was healthy because he exercised daily and ate carefully, but he answered emails until midnight every night under bright LED lighting, slept with the television on, and woke constantly throughout the night. His cortisol rhythm was severely disrupted. His inflammatory markers remained chronically elevated despite his healthy lifestyle. Once we rebuilt his sleep consistency, his blood markers improved more dramatically than they had from years of supplements and restrictive dieting combined. That's when many people begin realizing something uncomfortable. The body often values recovery more than intensity, and that leads directly into habit number 3, one of the most misunderstood trends in modern wellness culture today. The third hidden mistake is excessive physiological stress disguised as discipline. Intense fasting, extreme exercise, overtraining, chronic calorie restriction, endless cold exposure, aggressive optimization routines. These things are often promoted online as anti-aging breakthroughs. But after 50, many bodies simply do not tolerate chronic biological stress the same way they once did. Hormonal resilience changes, recovery changes, muscle preservation changes, immune flexibility changes. Research published in Cell Aging demonstrated that excessive stress signaling in aging adults can actually increase oxidative damage when recovery systems become overwhelmed. I saw this personally with a patient named Michael, 67 years old, who had become obsessed with aggressive fasting protocols after watching wellness influencers online. He was fasting 18 to 20 hours daily, training intensely, sleeping poorly, and restricting calories heavily. He looked disciplined from the outside. Internally, his cortisol was chronically elevated, testosterone suppressed, inflammation unstable, and muscle mass declining rapidly. Once we reduced the physiological stress and rebuilt nutritional consistency, his biomarkers improved across the board. This is something many people struggle to accept emotionally. More effort does not always equal better health. Sometimes balance creates far greater biological stability than extreme optimization ever could. And honestly, that may be one of the most important lessons modern adults over 50 need to hear right now.